The recent clash between the WNBA and college basketball star Caitlin Clark became a lightning rod of tension when public figure Megyn Kelly stepped in to expose alleged mistreatment. With her sharp tongue and bold statements, Kelly aimed her spotlight on Clark, a young, driven, and unshakably confident athlete who has become a standout figure in college basketball. Clark's explosive rise in the NCAA, along with her exceptional skills and unbreakable determination, have garnered attention not just from fans, but from major influencers and media personalities. When Kelly raised her voice, she wasn't just casting light on Clark's experience, but opening a can of worms for the WNBA, revealing an alleged undercurrent of bias and questionable conduct that had largely gone unspoken. But before we proceed further, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe. Caitlin Clark's fierce gameplay and unflinching competitive nature have made her a darling of college basketball fans. Her prowess on the court, characterized by a blend of agility, precision, and strategy, is awe-inspiring. Watching her handle the ball is like watching a conductor lead an orchestra. There's a rhythm, a sense of control, and a refusal to back down. She isn't just skilled, she plays with a kind of grit that's usually reserved for seasoned professionals. But for all her talent, Clark's experience with the WNBA has not been without its share of obstacles. As her reputation soared, her interactions with the WNBA highlighted an uncomfortable truth about the challenges female athletes often face, not just from competitors, but from the very institutions meant to support them. Enter Megyn Kelly, a media personality known for her pointed commentary and refusal to pull punches. Kelly's support for Clark was anything but subtle. She framed it as a crusade against the neglect and bias she felt had plagued the young athlete's relationship with the WNBA. In Kelly's eyes, the situation wasn't just about Clark. It was emblematic of the broader issues that women in sports face: a lack of recognition, respect, and adequate support. Her arguments didn't just target individual actions, but took aim at the WNBA as an institution, painting a picture of an organization that could, at times, be more of a barrier than a springboard for players like Clark. In Kelly's exposé, she highlighted what she saw as a double standard in the treatment of athletes like Clark. Her arguments suggested that Clark's powerful, outspoken nature may have rubbed some within the WNBA the wrong way. Kelly seemed to suggest that the WNBA had a difficult time embracing Clark's fiery persona, a quality that, if displayed by a male athlete, might be celebrated rather than criticized. Clark's intensity is part of what makes her such a compelling player, and it's clear she's never been one to hold back. But in the world of professional sports, especially for women, this assertiveness can be a double-edged sword, drawing admiration from fans but discomfort from those not used to seeing such unbridled confidence in female athletes. Kelly's decision to step in with such fervor turned heads and sparked debate. She has a knack for saying things others won't, and in this case, her words struck a nerve. Her support for Clark was no small endorsement, especially given Kelly's influence and platform. Her critiques cut deep, questioning the WNBA's commitment to its players and its mission to promote women in sports. And while many fans and supporters agreed with her perspective, there was also a backlash. Some felt that Kelly's statements were too incendiary, that they painted the entire WNBA with too broad a brush, ignoring the progress it has made over the years. Yet, Kelly's words resonated, and her points raised questions about how women's sports are governed, managed, and most importantly, how they treat their own. For Clark, the support from Kelly must have felt like a double-edged sword. On one hand, having such a high-profile figure champion her cause was a boost. It reinforced the idea that her struggles weren't just isolated incidents, but part of a larger systemic issue. However, it also brought a lot of attention, and not all of it positive. Suddenly, Clark was at the center of a media storm, with people analyzing her every move and statement, dissecting her actions on and off the court. Her every reaction became fodder for discussion, adding to the pressure that already came with being one of the most talked-about players in college basketball. The dynamics of this situation reveal much about the challenges female athletes faced in getting the recognition and respect they deserve. Unlike their male counterparts who are often encouraged to display strength and assertiveness, women in sports frequently have to navigate a more complex landscape. For athletes like Clark, being outspoken and passionate is sometimes seen as a liability rather than a strength. Kelly's words highlighted this disparity, bringing the issue to the forefront and forcing the public to confront uncomfortable truths about the treatment of women in professional sports. The message was clear. Female athletes should not have to temper their personalities or passion to fit into a mold. Clark's situation isn't just a single story. It's reflective of a pattern that has long plagued women's sports. The WNBA, like many sports leagues, has struggled with its image and support compared to male-dominated leagues. While it has made strides in promoting women's basketball, the path has been fraught with challenges. Financial struggles, lower viewership, and societal biases all play a part in creating a challenging environment for players. Clark's story brings these issues to the surface, showing how even the most talented athletes can face pushback, not just from competitors but from within their own circles. The public reaction to Kelly's expose was a mix of outrage, support, and intense debate. Fans of Clark and of women's sports in general rallied behind her, seeing in her story a rallying cry for change. They saw Kelly's intervention as a necessary wake-up call for the WNBA and, by extension, other sports organizations. The message was that these institutions need to take a closer look at how they treat their players, especially the ones who challenge the status quo. Clark's fans, who have watched her rise with admiration, felt that the WNBA needed to do more to support such players, to champion their uniqueness rather than see it as a threat. Others, however, viewed Kelly's statements with skepticism, arguing that her comments were an oversimplification. They believe that the WNBA, like any organization, has its limitations and is doing its best to support its players within those constraints. They pointed out the progress the WNBA has made in terms of visibility and popularity, arguing that while there is room for improvement, painting the organization as a villain was unfair. These voices insisted that the real issue is society's overall lack of support for women's sports, not any particular failing on the WNBA's part. Yet, for all the debate, Kelly's statements have undeniably left an impact. She has a way of sparking conversation, and this incident was no different. In her typical fashion, Kelly didn't just comment on the situation. She pushed it into the spotlight, forcing people to think about it, talk about it, and in many cases, take sides. For Clark, this added pressure comes with its own set of challenges. She now faces heightened scrutiny and increased expectations, not just as a player but as a figure in the fight for fairness in women's sports. The pressure to perform to prove herself on the court is now accompanied by the weight of being a symbol, whether she asked for it or not. In the end, the instant panic that Kelly's expose triggered in the WNBA is a reflection of a deeper, more systemic issue. Women's sports have always fought for their place, for equal footing, and for recognition. Clark's journey is just the latest chapter in this ongoing struggle, a reminder of how far there is still to go. Kelly's words, "love them or hate them," have brought attention to a conversation that needs to happen. For too long, the voices of women in sports have been muted, their struggles overlooked. But now, with figures like Clark at the forefront and advocates like Kelly pushing the conversation forward, there's hope that change might be on the horizon. The question isn't just about Caitlin Clark or the WNBA. It's about respect for women in sports, about breaking down barriers and ensuring that every athlete, regardless of gender, has the opportunity to thrive. Clark's determination and Kelly's intervention have opened a dialogue that could lead to lasting change, a shift in how we view and value women's sports. While the path forward may be uncertain, one thing is clear. Caitlin Clark won't be backing down, and with supporters like Kelly by her side, she's not standing alone. This moment, this controversy, may just be the catalyst needed to spark a revolution in women's sports, one that will make room for players like Clark to shine without fear or compromise. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more engaging content. We thrive on your feedback, so be sure to leave your thoughts in the comments section below. Until next time, keep discovering and stay tuned.